Good day to all. Welcome to World Town FC. Today I will be hosting it. My name is Mark, and hopefully you will learn something and enjoy the video. Okay, let's go. Our topic today is tactics. After looking at all your players, you're like, what do I do next? Well, it's simple. Not simple, it's a living nightmare. You start building your formations. For example, my first formation that I don't personally like it that much, but it's just a solid formation, is the 4-1-2-3. It's more of a 4-1-2-2-1, but it's more understandable probably to be named a 4-1-2-3 DM wide. So pretty much I run a backline of 4. This is a pretty, well, how would you call it? It's a pretty not simplistic. It's a pretty standard, I think, if you want to run a little more safer of a formation. So you have a goalkeeper. I have a sweeper keeper. I prefer sweeper keepers because they contribute slightly more to the attack than just a regular goalkeeper. He's on defend. You can choose others like support and attack. That means they'll like run out of the penalty area and take care of business. Okay, so I ran complete wingbacks. I think wingback would just be fine, but complete wingbacks is a little more offensive. Fullbacks are like another, like they tone down the level of offensive capabilities. Ball playing defender. I've learned that you should only have one because two will kind of disrupt the I guess you call the flow of the game in terms of defenders. Should probably switch to that while I'm at it. I run them on defend. Seems to be safer. I've been reading about it. Stopper is a little more, is obviously way more aggressive, where they'll actually like charge ahead to try to win the ball. Cover is the safer option. Defend, I think, is the middle option. I prefer defend. I don't want to cover. There's no aggression in that. They're just gonna run straight at you, and it's not gonna end well for your defense. So then, for the defensive midfielder, it's a pretty, I don't know, it's a pretty average-ish thing. You got a whole host of options: defensive midfielder, deep line playmaker, ball-winning midfielder, anchorman, halfback, regista, roaming playmaker. It's hard to say what you want out of that. It's, to be honest, whatever the player wants. I pretty much go with either defensive midfielder or deep line playmaker. Even a halfback would be okay. Anchorman would be alright. Those last two are a little more defensive. I think Regista and roaming playmaker are more or less same style, although roaming playmaker is way more aggressive. Okay, so for the central midfield, I have a ball-winning midfielder. That I think is standard in all like central midfield roles. You need one ball-winning midfielder to be the like kind of taking the ball back. So literally, what the title says is what they do. Advanced playmaker, need a playmaker. I prefer having one than not having one. I don't know how other people play. There's box-to-box midfielders, more like they say, more non-stop dynamism. So it's a dynamic player, very good physical, so they get worn down easily. And then I have two attacking midfielders. They have funny names. Alexander Hamilton. I'm just joking around, messing with history, or just making players out of cool historical figures. I don't know how to pronounce that. Ram de Tor. It's kind of like a striker style, striker style attacking midfielder. Wide target man. It's just a target man that's wide. Inside forward is he's an attacking midfielder that cuts in a lot. Advanced playmaker is what it means. Make plays. And then winger is not as aggressive, I'd say, in cutting in, but they still cut in sometimes. But they do a lot more passing, I think. So more of a creative role than inside forward. Inside forward is more of a striking style, similar to Ram de Tor. Don't know how to pronounce that correctly. I think it's German. I don't know how to pronounce German very well. Pretty bad at foreign languages. Okay, then you have the striker. I was just screwing around and made a striker called Harry Kane, although he has a Y in his name. But anyway, you have a deep lying forward. I don't really understand what that's for, but they explain it. It's kind of like a center forward type of style. Doesn't really do the striking, but helps out. advanced forward is what they claim, or what they explain is that it's pretty much just the main man for the attack. Target man, more or less the same deal, although it's not as good technically probably as advanced forward. Poacher is pretty much someone who just sits there. It's pretty useless in my opinion unless you have a striking partner. A poacher doesn't really do much besides do his best to score. Can't really do much else. Complete forward, I have like a preference towards a complete forward because he has the technical attributes as I explained, as a deep lying forward, poacher, and a target man. So he's like kind of like the all-rounder style, which I like. Defensive forward is more of a they attack the defense. Yeah, they just harass the defense, try to win the ball back. Probably another complementary style striker. Then a quarterista, trequarista. That's a pretty big deal, I think. I like this role. It's probably for like the kind of like the advanced forward type, more useful than a poacher, but kind of does what poachers do. False 9, I use this. It is useless for some reason. I don't know. It's just it explains that it's similar to like center forward, lone striker style. But it's more of an advanced, yeah, it's more of an attacking midfield playmaker role. It's I don't know. I run formations, and false 9 is useless. I've used it once or twice. It's absolutely useless. And then you have strikers. I prefer to have a goalkeeper on the bench, fullback on the bench. I could probably play both sides, center back, two midfielders, preferably central or defensive midfielders, and I have a winger and a striker. Or a striker winger hybrid. It doesn't matter, just whatever you like, or whatever you think you need to replace on the tactics. So then, in terms of instruction, I do not go route 1. That's what I think lower level teams go with, since they lack build up to their game. They just go straight attack. More direct is a little bit more restrained from going route 1. Retain possessions. What it says, you retain possession. Shorter passing is the more extreme version. You do way better at retaining the ball. You probably play much Barcelona style type of game, Italian style. I don't know, something like that. Passing the space is what it means. You tell your players to pass into empty space. Work ball in the box. Essentially, what it means is tell your players to work the ball into the box. Take your time. Play out of defense. I always do this because I don't want to lose possession instantly if someone defender clears the ball. Pump ball in the box, that's I think kind of like a desperation type of style. I don't really like that, but if you're desperate, you have no choice. Clear ball to flanks. That conflicts with play out of defense. Yeah, I don't clear ball to flanks. The attacking midfielders aren't there when I do it. It's just from experience. Hit early crosses. Yeah, it's useless because I mean, it might be okay, but a lot of center forwards that I run, a lot of strikers that I prefer, that I've used, it's not that great. Float crosses is for tall people, obviously. Whip crosses. Now that is what I use. Is essentially what it means is the ball will come in speed and it'll cut down. It'll whip. So it's whipped. They'll move downwards. So the striker will just kick it instead, which is good. Low crosses, don't use that. But actually, that might be good. That's like an extreme version of a whip cross. And I always run a defense because players I enroll or hire, that play pretty much, they have very good technical skills. So I tell them to run a defense. Shoot on sight is essentially what it means. It's when you're desperate, you need to start firing shots at the goal. Always exploit flanks. My wingers are at best. This formation especially, you could rely on the central midfielders, the advanced playmaker, to like exploit the middle, kind of force them to work a lot, but it's not my style. Look for the overlap. That's essentially what it means. Is it tells the fullbacks to run up and hopefully pass the ball to them, cross it in, and hopefully get a shot in goal, maybe score. Play wider is a shape. I prefer to play wider because I don't think there's really all that need to play narrow unless you play a narrow formation. Much higher defensive line, obviously, it's what it means. pretty self-explanatory. Push higher up was the lesser version of the much higher defensive line. Drop deeper is obviously another, I guess, another level of the defensive line where they move and stuff. I've never really had a problem, so I never really cared too much to. I mean, if you play defensively, drop deeper. Drop much deeper seems to be like you're giving up the ball, so I don't do that. Stick to positions. I don't really mind. They can do whatever they want. I don't want to roam either, which is the extreme, the opposite. It's kind of like playing like a total football style, probably. Do whatever you want. Kind of like tell the players, kind of be like all-rounders, I'm guessing. Tactical as well. Defending, always close down more because you don't want the opponent to get comfortable in the ball. And then there's like close down less, and then the two extremes of both of those. Get stuck in as a slide tackle, pretty much. Be aggressive. Always stay on feet. Use tight end marking. Use offside trap. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution. That's yeah, that you just force the goalkeeper into doing stuff instead of the easier option. In terms of tempo, higher tempo, I prefer that because you're not really going with shorter passing. Although it kind of conflicts a little bit with retained possession. Although it doesn't conflict as much to like literally conflict, so it's fine. Be more expressive. I want my players to be creative, so always use that. Be more disciplined. Since I'm using a playmaker and I prefer to be more creative, I don't use that. Always be more expressive is better, in my opinion. If you want to be more creative in your game, mentalities, they have contain, really defensive. Defensive is a little less defensive than contain. Counter is probably the best, like they explained, the best style if you're the underdog. Standard, I always use standard. Control is, as they say, like you're the better team and you can, hold the ball better. Attacking is going like all out almost, and then overload is literally all out where everyone attacks, essentially. Team shape, fluidity, it's your choice. What do you want to be? Do you want to be highly structured? Do you want to be a little less structured, so you're structured? You want to be flexible? It's like the middle ground. You want to be fluid. I like fluid because of the creativity. Better creativity than flexible. Or do you want to be very fluid, where that's like total football style, probably. I don't really like that. I'll leave it here, and hopefully it's going to be like part 2 of this video. This is part 1. I still have a little more stuff to cover, so yeah. Hopefully next time you'll come back and watch part 2. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, learned something, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to YouTube channel. If you're new, 2 links below, Facebook and Twitter, check that out. You always get updates. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Love you all, and I'll see you all next Friday.